Hi, today I'd like to show you a few exotic coins I've recently received from places that don't exist or have changed a lot now. So this one is the Maldives, that's still there now, but this is 1902 for Lariat. Now this one, as you can see, it's an Arabic, and underneath it's a bit different. If you see there's a little squiggle underneath the date. There's a date there. You can just see like there, that's like a 3 upside or sideways. So that's the date. But underneath there's a squiggle, which makes it a bit more different. It says Sana below the date. And so there were not so many produced. There's only about 13% of the total lot were produced with that. So that's worth having a look at as well. Some of these dates on these, especially when we look at the Ottoman and the Egyptian coins, they're all in Mohammedan dates. So you have to do some calculation to bring them into what we would call Christian era or Common Era that we use in the West. So these are 1300s, and it comes up to, so it's 1320, it says. You can just about see the 1, the sideways 3, and then the 2. And that comes to 1320 on the date. It's very difficult to focus with this at the moment. But on the other side, again, you've got some Arabic script. So that's the Maldives. 1902 is another one. Again, it's a bit, this one's 1913. Again, you've got down the bottom there, you've got the date in Muslim date of 1331. So that comes to 1913 in the Common Era date. This one focuses a lot better, I'm glad to say. So they're the Maldives in the Indian Ocean. Next we'll go to Indochina. Now Indochina was a French colony, and it's now broken down to Laos, Cambodia and Vietnam. But in this period it was called Indochina, French Indochina. So this is 1938, 1 cent. So it's got Chinese characters on there as well, because this was part of this China sort of sphere of influence, which included Vietnam, Korea, and parts of Japan had were influenced by Chinese characters, or the Hanji characters. So you've got Indochina. It's now broken up into 3 states. And on here we've got the French sort of side of it, République Française. So that's 1938. Now we have got one. These will all be Indochina for the next 3 or 4. 5 cents, 1938. Again, you've got the Indochine. That's a way of saying it in French. And these have holes in the middle. Not sure if they've taken that because of the previous sort of Chinese coins that they used had this sort of hole in the middle. It might well be from that. They've just made it, carried on. Again, you've got this sort of French side with a horn of cornucopia, is that right? Horn of plenty. Here we've got 1943, 1/4 cent. So this is during the Second World War, when this area was taken over by Japan at the time. But I think this is a French sort of side, 1/4, but they are a French state of Indochina. But they're made out of sort of iron or something. No, it's a bit less than that. It's probably aluminium or something like that, because they hadn't got the metals during the war to. This is another one. This is very light. Another wartime one, 1943, 1 cent. But again, it's very light material. Just about see the 1 cent on that, because these ones do deteriorate quite quickly. 1945, so this is the end of the war. République Française. Soon after the end of the war, a lot of these countries started to break off independence movements. There was a lot of fighting between, once the Japanese left, there was lots of fighting between the French and the other countries, especially the Vietnamese. So unfortunately, Vietnam has been in wars for a long time. Let's go now into Egypt. Now, Egypt was, this one is 1866. There's this sort of Mohammedan signature. 10 para, you can see the 10 down there, the 1 and the dot. So that's 10. And then you've got the date down here, that's 1277 down the bottom. But then you've got another little 0 at the top here. Now, that's year 5, because the date at the bottom is usually the date of the Sultan or head of state, and then the 5 means the number of years of his reign. So you have to add that to this date to get the actual date of the minting of this coin. This happens a lot in Egyptian and later on Ottoman coins. So that was, this one's 1844. Again, you've got this signature. And then you've got a 10 at the bottom there, if you can just about see it, a 1 and a dot. So that's 10 Kirish. Then you've got the date at the bottom. Oh, it's 2/10 of a Kirish, so that's that 2 in the middle. So that's 1884, 1898. So Egypt at this period was, I believe, still under the Ottomans. It might be starting to come under the influence of the British at this period. So again, you've got the date down the bottom, and then further along you'll find another number, which is the date of the rain date, and then you have to add that on. Not very well focusing at the moment, but that's mainly just got a, there we go. And there underneath here, I think you can see again some numbers, and that will be the reign date, so how long he's been on the throne. So again, you have to add that to the other date. Don't know if you can see that. Right at the bottom there, just before that line. So I think it's 23 or something like that. So that will be the reign date, which you have to then add on. So this one is 1904 in Common Era, but again you've got the Muslim date there, and on the top we've got 30, so that's the year of his reign. So you have to, so it's 1293, but the year 30. So 30 years on top of 1293, then you have to add on something like, is it 584 or something like that to get to the Common Era or Christian calendar. And again, you got the signature there. So Egypt was a bit different. It was part of the Ottoman Empire, but it has always had this sort of semi-independence from the Ottomans. And then it came under, in the 19th century, later 19th century, came under British protectorate, as they call it. Again, you got this one, it's quite nice. And again, you got a sort of more 10, year 10 again. I think that's, oh no, it's 10 Kirish. So Muslim coins are a bit more difficult for a simple person like me to read. But you've got 1325, I think that is on the, 1327. And then you've got to, there's the other date of the reign. I think that's a 2 or something like that. So with all these, then you add on the difference between when Muhammad was born to the Christian date, and then I think it's about 500. I think it's 240. Yeah, 584, something like that. You have to add on. So it's this date, the date at the top, plus 584, and it gives you a rough estimate of when it is in the Common Era. Now we've got the last one of these, and it's 1933. So this one, it has got the Arabic date. So on this side, it's got the Common Era or the Christian Era, 1933, and on that side you've got 1352, I think it is, under Mohammedan date. So it's a 10 is the 10 millimes. That is right. And on this one we've got the King Farouk, I think it is. So there was independence by then. They had their own king. Let's have a look at these ones. These ones are the Ottoman Empire. So again, you've got the date at the bottom there. I think it's 1255. And in the Common Era, it's 1859. So again, you've got to take that, and on here somewhere you'll find another reign date. I think it might be this on here. This is a Kurush. So there's another date under there. It's probably the reign date. So this is Turkey, or let us say it should be called the Ottoman Empire this time. So that's now disappeared and it's broken up into Turkey and loads of North African and Middle Eastern states now. So we should call this Ottoman, the end of the Ottoman period. So this one is 1902 in the Common Era, or 1293 plus the date of his reign. Again, you've got this signature, and then you've got a date there for the reign date, I think it is. And over here we've got another, tells you it's 10 para, 10 para, and the Arabic date. This one is 1914. Nice little condition, this one. 1914. This is 5 para, 1327 or 1914. And again, you've got, I think you can just about see there's a date underneath. And it gives you the amount there, Arabic date. And then it would have on there the reign date. And lastly, we're going to have a look at this one, 1915. So near the end of the Ottoman Empire. This one is 10 para, 1327 in Arabic or Muslim date, 1915 in Christian era or Common era. So again, you've got the date down the bottom here. You've got the value 10 there. And then somewhere on here you'll find another date, which is the reign date. And then after the collapse of the Ottoman Empire, after the First World War, places like Turkey and that adopted dual dates, and so you get the Common Era date or the Christian era date and the Muslim date or Mohammedan date. So you tend to get those two. Well, in these early ones, you just got Mohammedan dates, and then you had to do some bit of calculation to find out when they were produced if you're from the West, like myself. Well, I hope that was of some interest, and these are quite interesting because they are from periods where they've now disappeared, especially places like French Indochina and the Ottoman Empire. Egypt has changed a lot as well, and the Maldives has changed a lot. So these are shows you the changing geopolitical balances around the world. Oh, well, I hope that was of interest. I'll come back to you again soon with some more items. Please look at my old stuff. These don't go out of date. Please give it a thumbs up. That really does help me get more viewers. And have a look at my other items. And subscribe if you haven't. That all helps my little channel. Okay, I'll come back to you soon with some other things. I've got some more historical items, the history of London in the 18th century and stuff like that. Okay, see you. Bye.